Hi, welcome back. Thanks for tuning in here today. Today we're going to be doing a nice little fun painting. I hope you can follow along with me. Let me have them run the colors across the screen that you will need to paint along with me. While you're doing that, let me tell you what I got up here on my canvas. I have my regular 16 by 20 inch canvas, pre-stretched, double primed, and I added a thin coat of the liquid white. Rather than that, it's slick, it's wet, it's ready to go. We could get started with, I'm going to use my palette knife, and I'm going to grab a little bit of phthalo blue and a touch of alizarin crimson, just the slightest touch. And we're going to go into a little bit of titanium white. There's liquid white, so it's going to get lighter, but I just want to see like what shade, because I want it kind of like a lavenderish color. So a little bit more white and just mixing it up. Okay, let me grab my brush that I put the liquid white on and just load up that brush. Nice and loaded. Let's come up here and just go crisscross. There we are. And because of the liquid white, it just makes it easier for us. There we are. Just going crisscross, or try like doing X's, like if you're writing lots of X's. I'm gonna just bring it to around right there. There, just blend some of the parts out. Okay, now I want a little bit of that in the form of a stream. So maybe the stream lives right over here. There. Just applying a little bit of color. There we are. Now, let me grab a clean dry 2-inch and just blend any harsh brush marks. Just bring it all together. There. Just tapping off that excess color. You know what? Let's have fun. Let's have fun. I'm gonna take my 1-inch brush into titanium white and just tap it. Let's come up here and just maybe have a little cloud that you just tap in. This is beginner friendly. A beginner friendly cloud. It's kind of hard to really mess this up. All you're doing is just tapping. This is the hard part, blending it. Use the top corner of your brush and just go in circles. Very lightly. Lift up and go across. And just like that, you have yourself a nice little simple sky with the cloud right there. That same base color, I'm gonna just use my palette knife, and that's too dark. Notice how when you use a palette knife, it's kind of darker, so you gotta compensate with a little bit of white. So just adding more white, just until I think it's good enough. Yeah, I think so. We want this way back in the distance. It's gonna be just a nice little mountain. Took me a long time to learn this. If you want something to look in the distance, use very light colors, because if you use your dark color, it's gonna stick out and it's gonna lose its appearance of a 3D look. There, something like so. Okay, let me clean off my knife, and we'll grab our brush that we used to blend everything. Just grab it and pull it. Grab it, just line it up and pull it down. There. Shoo. There we are. That's pretty simple. And just blend out that base. Okay, now we're gonna go into a small detailed flat brush, one that I use to put in little details. And all I'm gonna go is I'm gonna go into a little bit of Van Dyke brown, take it through a little bit of blue, that blue mixture we had going on earlier. And let's see what we get up here. Maybe that's too dark. Way too dark. Maybe something just lives right up in there. Just a few little subtle indications. There we are. Just here and there. I'm just kind of having loose strokes with it. I don't really want to add too much detail because this is going to be in the distance. Okay, grab a little bit of white, a little bit of brown just to get a nice brown highlight. Maybe you would see a little bit of highlight in there, just a little bit. Shoot, just like so. And just add it wherever you think it would help out that painting. There we are. Few little bits here and there. Okay, now let's go into a little bit of blue color, maybe a little bit of brown, a little bit of ivory black, just something in there. And let's come up here and just add in a little bit of a shadow. There we are. Just mixing random colors. See what you get and then work from there. Sometimes you like the colors you get, and you would have never got them if you just mixed up random colors. The best paintings for me usually are random colors that I just mixed up. And luckily, because of the videos, I could see what I mixed up. There. Just kind of smudge a bit. Okay. Now, all I'm gonna do is just kind of pull it a bit, just to kind of soften up that face. There. Now, let's go ahead, a little bit of brown, knock it into place with a little bit of blue, that base color. And we're gonna go ahead and maybe there lives another peak right around here. You know what? Let me just shape it out. That way we have a general idea. Okay, so here and there, you could start to see a little bit more color because it's getting closer. Here and there. Now, I overdid it over here, but it's no problem. You can just grab it and blend it out. Just like that. Let's go into our little dark color, a little bit more black, a little bit blue, brown, just darker colors. Notice the difference. but because this is darker, this will come closer to the painting. This will stand out a bit more. There we are. Maybe like so. But don't hide all that rich blue tones. There. If you need to add a little bit of blue, go ahead. Don't get rid of them completely until you're like all the way to the end of the painting. And just pull it out a bit. And you can wisp it. Let's grab a little bit of brown, a little bit of white. Once again, we're gonna add in a few little highlights. Just a few little teeny highlights. There we are. There. Okay. We got that done. Now, we can go ahead. We can grab a little bit of that blue and let's take it into a little bit of orange. It's just the orange from our last video. I can't tell you what color it is because we mixed it. It's just alizarin crimson and cadmium yellow. I just want like a diluted green color. There, that's nice. And all I'm doing is just tapping and pulling some of that color down. There we are. Shoot, maybe this one gets a bit higher. There we are. There we are. Now, you can pull it down a bit, lift upwards a bit, just to make it look like little trees. Okay. Now, let's go ahead. A little bit of cadmium yellow. We want more vibrant green. And what we're going to do is just establish where our highlights are going to stick. You know what? I want a little bit more of that blue to come out over here. Shoot, just a little bit. And a little bit of highlights would just stick out right around there. If we have a little bit here, we just show up right there. Now let's knock the color down a bit. Just make it a little bit more darker and a little bit more toned down. That way it's not too vibrant. So I'm just going from brown, blue, black until I feel like the color's what it needs to be. I think right here. Yeah, perfect. There we are. I thought this painting would be like how you call it, when you're going out hiking or something and you just see like a trail and all that. We're gonna try to make it look like that. A little bit of dark color. There, I think I like this color a bit. Oh yeah. Just a little bit in here. Just so we get a little bit of that going together. Now, we can just blend it out. Have it one smooth color or smooth gradient. There we are. And all I'm gonna do is let's get started on putting in big ol' nice evergreen trees. We're gonna go ahead and a little bit of black to our green color, just a little bit. These are gonna be somewhat distant. Let's come up here and just come up here and plop them in. There. This one's a big, mean old tree. There we are. Load a bit more of that color onto my fan brush. Maybe there lives another one right there. That needs a friend. You can't have a tree all lonely. There. There we are. Okay. And maybe let me just step back a bit, look at it. Maybe it needs another one. We'll add one more. What the heck? Why not? Maybe this one's cuts right in between that mountain. I always like doing these little crooked trees. There we are. And about there. We'll add a little bit more black, just a little bit. Load it onto our brush. Let's come up here and have a big one that stops right around there. And just come up here and boop, 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 boop. Just tap him onto the canvas. There we are. Load up your brush if you need to. There. I'll fix it up a bit. Let's go ahead. Let's highlight the back trees a bit. Just a bit. We don't want them standing out too much because they're supposed to be in the distance. Okay, let's come up here just with a little bit of green. That's too dull of a green. A little bit of black in there. Just trying to see what would suit it. A little bit of brown. I think maybe this. Let's try this out. We can always cover it up with more paint if we don't like it. There we are. Yeah, that looks nice. Just something out there. A few little subtle indications. Okay, right over here. There we are. Shoot. And the final one over here. There we are. Now we can add a little bit of extra highlight, very little. I don't want to overdo it. Let's come up here. That's still not enough. There. Just a few little touches wherever you think they would show. Just here and there. Okay, and maybe out here we would see a little bit on this one. Not too much because the other trees are blocking most of it. Okay, wipe that brush. You can blend some of it out. There. Okay, let's go ahead. Just darker colors. Let me fix this tree up. There we are. And right before, or you know what? I have a different idea. We'll see if it works. If it doesn't, I apologize in advance. You could paint the grass. It involves the grass. If you guys don't want to go step by step, worried if it works or not, just paint the grass. Don't wait for me. You can pause the video and just paint it. There we are. Okay. Let's go ahead. Let's go into ivory black and maybe boop. Maybe. Boop. Maybe this one just lives right around there. That's a friend for that one. Maybe one lives right in between that mountain, and this one's part of these. Let's just go ahead, block in that other tree. See, if you mess up a bit, it's alright. You can just grab your palette knife and make that top just a bit higher, just so it looks more pointy on the top. It happens. Happens to the best of us. Especially when you're going kind of quick. Ooh. There we are. Okay. A little bit of highlight color. Just load up your brush and just have at it. Load it up. Boom, 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 boom. Let's plop in a few little extra highlights on that little tree. Boom. There. Nothing crazy. Load up with ivory black. Now I want pure ivory black. Maybe just a big old evergreen. Big old evergreen just lives right there. Ooh, imagine this place in the mornings. Just walking through here. Might spot a bear. I would love to see this place in your life. Looks nice, relaxing. Pull out the old easy chair, enjoy nature's work. Probably a bit cold though, because of all the trees out there. I probably need a good jacket. More black. And just come up here and just add in a little bit of a evergreen tree. There we are. There. Just tap it with the corner of the brush. The brush will do all the work for you, really. Even if I left the grass the way it is, it wouldn't be too bad. Just add in a little bit of dirt now that I'm looking at it. But I wanna try something out. And shoot, just block it in. Okay. Just lives out there. This is a good painting to practice evergreen trees. I just realized that you'd be painting so many. You'd be tired of painting them. You'd be like, no more. After a while, you don't even want to paint them. That's how it is sometimes. But that's how you get the best practice and you improve your skill at it. A little bit of this green color and just plop it in. That's too dark. Needs a bit more yellow. Plop in. Shoot, we'll just go cadmium yellow. We'll go our brightest. Sometimes if there's too much paint like there is right now, it's hard to stick on paint. So you can use a little bit of liquid white. I don't want to use liquid white, but if you feel like you need to, you can use a little bit and it'll stick right on. There we are. Load up your brush, come up here and just poop. There we are. Okay. Few little ones live out here. There. And we gotta highlight our last one. And just tap in that paint. And it might blend in a bit. It's alright. There. If it blends in too much and you just don't like it the way it is, what you can do is you can grab a little bit of brown, a little bit of white, cut a roll, and just add in a nice stick, little tree trunk. There. Maybe now you're saying, oh, the tree trunk stands out too much. Just hide it. You can just tap a little bit of green over it, and that's good enough. Right here, just hide it a bit. Okay. Now, I want to add in a little bit of evergreens over here. I'm not going to do as many, but I'm going to do one main one right here. That's too much light brown. So just using my palette knife. Now you're probably asking, why am I putting in such a big tree trunk? Because the evergreen is going to look a bit different this time. We're going to go ahead, grab our fan brush, a little bit of black, and just add in a few little leafy areas. Something like so. Everything will come together in a sec. Lights coming this way, a little bit of highlight with our palette knife. And we'll grab a little bit of black with Van Dyke Brown for our shadows. There we are. Okay, a little bit of highlights onto the tree. There we are. Okay. I just pull a bit out from there, and we'll go ahead and grab ourselves maybe one lives right there, and you can just tap them in. Very simple. You guys could probably do these in your sleep after all the evergreens I had you guys doing. There. There we are. A few little just shoom, and a little bit of cadmium yellow, a little bit of that green color, just trying to get a nice green color that would look nice for the tree. Just tap it. Okay, and you could let it blend out. Okay, now before I forget anything, I could grab a little bit of brown with my flat brush and just shoom, a few little. Let me move out the way. There was a couple times where I blocked the view because of my head. Just shoom. There we are. Just few little dirt paths. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna grab an old, like flared out brush, and I'm gonna tap a little bit of cadmium yellow. Now, maybe a little bit of white with it. Cadmium yellow and white. Let's come up here, just tap it. Look at that. And all I'm gonna do is just tap a little bit of highlights, a little bit of grassy highlights, just by tapping down. If it gets too much on your evergreen, you can always blend it back. There's no worries. This is where the light would kind of hit the most. Few little grass. Okay, We'll go back, add in a few little spots with the dirt. Okay, and we'll fix up a little bit of those uh, evergreen trees. That doesn't look too bad. A lot of trees. We're gonna go ahead, last final things, because I know I went over time. Let's go ahead and just boop, just a big old tree, a little bit of brown and white. We can just tap on a few little indications. Needs more white. There. And a little bit of brown and black just for shadows. Okay, and let me cut a little bit right there, just so it seems like it goes together. It blends in the back. A little bit of white, a few little water lines, just really smearing that white. There we are. Just back and forth, back and forth. And I think with that, that concludes today's painting. I really hope you enjoy it. Try this painting out. If you do, send me a photo. I would love to see what you create. I'd like to wish each and every one of you the best of luck, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, take care, my friends. Goodbye.